Hey, how you going, random stranger? Welcome to episode 8 of Made in Abyss. And we've crossed the halfway mark, and things are getting kind of complicated. And I say that because last episode we got a shocking reveal or insight into Ozen's thinking and state of mind. And the more I try to past Ozen's character, the more conflicted I feel, which is why it was so good to get some of your views in the comments, and I'll go through some of them now because they really helped me process what in the heck just happened. And there are a couple of pretty big, deep questions that I don't really have answers to, so I'll get into them and we'll see what you guys think. So I think I reached a point where I understand why Ozen did what she did. I sure as hell don't condone it, but given the stakes and the construction of their social mores and the slightly naive attitude of Rico towards the abyss versus like the very real dangers that await them down there, I can accept that Ozen had a somewhat justifiable reason for beating the crap out of them. Other than that, she just enjoys it, which I kind of think she did, and that makes me feel even more conflicted. Anyway, Akash Mondal basically summed it up really well. They commented that while in the orphanage abuse is used to punish the kids, in Ozen's case, it was part of her training method because she knows what is about to come, considering what Reg and Rico's end goal is. That's why she went the extra mile to abuse them to their limits, partially to gauge what that limit actually was, and partially because she is a bit insane. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like when the goal is to get to the bottom layers of the abyss, it's inevitable that to survive, you're going to have some pretty big cojones to go through probably far worse than what Ozen did to them. And it wasn't just like the physical beatings, it was also the mental game that she was playing with them and the emotional pain of seeing the other person suffer and potentially die. Over on Twitter, at Wicked Brit gave another good reason for Ozen doing what she did, and one that I hadn't really considered before. So they wrote, Ozen wanted to make sure Lyza wasn't the only reason Rico was making the journey. A kid shouldn't throw away whatever life they might have on the surface just to see her mom. But Rico also has enough curiosity and drive to explore the abyss without needing her mom to be the goal. Which was a really interesting aspect for Ozen, pushing them so hard. And weirdly, all of that builds up towards this picture of Ozen as incredibly harsh and twisted. Like, there's no doubt about that. But ultimately and oddly also caring in her own way. I want to bring in something Joseph Nied wrote as well, comparing Ozen to some other characters. Like Lyza, who, according to Lita, was a bit eccentric, but also very human. I mean, I'm really curious about that as well. Like, how did Lyza manage to retain her humanity despite becoming the greatest of all the White Whistles? Or did she? I don't think we really know. Joseph also wrote about the juxtaposition between Ozen and Marulk. So Marulk is gentle, kind, and thoughtful, while Ozen is brutal, sadistic, and violent. And yet, Marulk says Ozen is truly good to them, and Ozen clearly takes some degree of pride in Marulk as her apprentice. By the way, Marulk, the true MVP of the last episode, because she was the one who ran to get the other bandits and essentially prevented Ozen from committing double murder. And for that, she's going to get strung up naked as punishment. This is a crazy world. So Joseph goes on to write, Marulk isn't the only person Ozen has gone out of her way to help. These other cave raiders who assist her are good-for-nothings with nowhere to call home. Ozen may act cold-hearted, but clearly she values the company of others. Not that it justifies her approach to training. Yeah, I think that lays out pretty clearly why I just get really weird, funny, contradictory feelings whenever I think about Ozen. It's just so hard to pin a character down, and you can't really shove her into any clear black and white morality box. And it brings up the idea of love and how it's conceptualized in this show. So from the flashbacks, we know that Ozen loved Lyza, but she also abused her. But it was out of love for her to become the legendary White Whistle that she then did become. And we also know that Lyza got that as well. Like, she was ambitious and obsessed enough with the Abyss to see that Ozen was essentially giving her the keys to survival. Also, that part where Ozen is telling kid Lyza about her hair and how it's the result of the Abyss causing these physical deformities in her body, and Lyza is like, oh, that's so cool. No, it's not cool, Lyza. Like, irreversible physical mutilations are not cool. The point is, the Abyss and the entire system that's built on top of it twists people's definition of everything, and including, maybe especially, love. Abuse is never right and is never something anyone does if they truly loved someone. But how does that understanding of love get warped when applied to a society that creates these twisted incentives and necessities for survival? So that age-old question of what is love results in some really quite disturbing answers, and I think that's exactly this show's intention. Sua Manona also mentioned the show's unique concept of love, that's one way to put it, how it's quite stretched, and they also wrote the contrast between Reg's humanity and the lack of humanity of the other characters around him is a prevailing theme of the story. And you can probably make some philosophical arguments about what really makes you human. And yeah, this for sure has been brought up a couple of times now. But in the last episode, the way that Reg got so angry with Ozen for just being the way that she is, his humanity just got highlighted once again. And his idea of love is probably way more in line with what we'd consider a more acceptable or humane conception of it. One last thing on love, Widow Senpai commented, Ozen loves Lyza, but that love doesn't extend to Riko. There is genuine resentment towards Riko, as Ozen sees her as the reason why Lyza is not there anymore. And yeah, you could really see that in the way Ozen talks about what happened down in the Abyss way back when. She'd clearly much rather have Lyza here than Riko, and I don't think we really know what happened to Lyza afterwards to cause Ozen in a way to blame Riko. So they got to the surface with Riko, and then Lyza went back down to recover the unheard bell, I think. And then after that, we don't really know what happened. I'm guessing there's going to be some horrible, awful reveal in the later episodes. My prediction, based on like the worst case scenario, is Lyza has now transformed into some morally void creature of the Abyss, and Reg has to kill her to protect Riko, who will then hate Reg forever because that is her mom. Anyway, that is my prediction based on the direction of crazy that this show is going in. So yeah, we'll see. The last thing we have to talk about is religion. So what we've covered so far, abuse, love, and now religion. Okay, so Ozen likens the devotion people have to the Abyss to the worship of a god, and I would agree. If you think about faith, it can come with a host of benefits, but it also has its harms or its traps as it's practiced by humans. So like any religion or faith, if stripped of reason, compassion, or is driven by fear, often leads to some really bad, really awful results. You can have, for example, rampant abuse, the inhumane treatment of non-believers, the blind following of charismatic religious leaders who don't really have the best interests of the people at heart. Kind of everything that Orth has in some way. On the flip side, faith can empower people to do great things and really push through their normal limits to complete really hard challenges. So it's this exploring of the ambiguity of these really big concepts like love and religion. I think that is really defining of this show. The connection to God was also interesting, given the Abyss has kind of strong-ish overtones to Dante's Inferno, which I've mentioned before. The odd difference, I guess, is biblical hell is generally treated as a place to avoid, whereas our abyss here is something that an entire society is bent on entering and then conquering. So I don't know, there's something deep there to think about. Okay, that was a lot. I'm sure episode 8 is going to throw up some more complications for us. So if you guys are ready to dive into it, let's do it in 3, 2, 1, play. Why do they call her the Sovereign? Also, this irredeemable lesson. I think Lyza used that. Is Lyza the narrator? But yeah, irredeemable is a very good word for Ozen. She's just gone so far into the darkness. That's right, Rico the meatbag. So it takes days to recharge the incinerator? I mean, what she's saying is true. It's just, it's also so manipulative because Ozen knows how much Rake cares for Rico and is so protective of her. She keeps saying, don't show any mercy, don't show any mercy. I'm a bit worried about that. Like, so there are things down there that could tug at your heartstrings a bit. Oh man. It's just, appreciate this OP. Just a side note about VAs. What if you can't sing and you're a voice actor? Maybe you just don't get any jobs. Those flowers, I forget what they're called, like eternal something. They must symbolize something as well. I like this part where they meet in the middle. Also, it's so interesting whenever Lyza appears and there's OP, she's sort of like, you know, bathed in sunlight and her golden hair is flowing out. Just such a different vibe to, say, someone like Ozen, who is always just encased in darkness. And character-wise as well, just so dark. So, and I really want to see more of Lyza. Here we go, training episode. I'd die in the first 10 seconds. Yeah, maybe don't run straight towards something unknown. Yeah. Oh, okay. Alright, okay, so Rico knows her stuff. Like, she's read survival tips and books and all that. Like a rhino fish? It looks like a Pokemon that I've forgotten the name of, the one that looks like a rhino. I was gonna say my first choice for drinking water maybe isn't the pink, purple glowing water. They look like they know what they're doing though. Regressed eyes. It's like even the tiniest of things in the abyss could probably murder you. Day 3 already. Oh. He's an interesting bandit. That's why they need each other. They work so well together. Like Rico provides the brave and the brains, and then Reg is the brawn. Yeah. I think someone in the comments mentioned that. I think it was Hankan. He was like, if you die during the training, you were gonna die anyway once you got down to the abyss, so it's probably better to die earlier. So brutal. Oh, they're trying to catch the rhino from before. Very smart. Rico still sounds very excited. This is like still an adventure for her. It's not a life or death thing, it's just fun. What's that? Damn, those arms. Weak psych. Weak psyche is what Reg has. Yeah, they gotta stick together. And Ozen is like, dependency is weakness. Love is weakness. Oh, look at her hands. What? It's flowers of fortitude. So though. What? Wait, that was Talker? Why did he looks like a baby, like a little kid? What's happening? Oh, this is when they were carrying the vessel up. Oh, so Ozen was meant to carry it up herself? That dumb face. Clearly, Ozen did not approve of Talker. Probably thought he was not good enough for her. This is the moment. Also, it's like before, it sounded like Ozen had been attacked by other cave raiders from other countries. It didn't sound like it was an attack by, you know, creatures of the abyss. Oh, it's so tantalizing, these little bits and pieces they give us of Lyza and Ozen. I mean, that thing probably could provide enough meat for 3 months. Maruk, she's looking out for her friends. She's so good. They made it. Rika's face. She's very literal. She's worried about Ozen. Yeah, there's something that's so strange because she cares so deeply for Ozen despite all of that mistreatment. Oh, they got separated? I just feel like Marok is too pure for this world. So he does feel pain. Hodgepodge stew. What was that? It was like a 5-point thing. That's a super hunch. Like, when she hunches over. It looks like a bull, like a symbol. If you don't want to kill those who are waiting for you. Oh, like time dilation or something? Yeah. Something else that's very similar to space travel. Ooh, those meat eating sounds. So time passes more slowly down there. Do you age though? Is that why Ozen actually looks a lot older than she is a lot older than she looks? Because she spent her time down in the abyss. Ugh, the meat juice. Oh. So Ozen also sort of harbors a kind of hope that Lyza is still alive. Has she ever gone down to look? She must have surely gone down to look at her, look for her. Oh God. She caught that incoming physical contact. Oh my, oh. Are they all in some way inhuman? Like literally inhuman, all the white whistles? Okay, yeah, some of you are like, Ozen's actually pretty cool amongst all the white whistles. Oh, stop slapping them. Is that one of the other white whistles, like trying to lure them down there? It's human skin. Oh, okay. Oh, that is an epic pickaxe. It looks like it's made from some bone of a creature. It's so interesting that all of the white whistles have their own titles. Sort of gives a clue into the character. She's being surprisingly accommodating, you know, aside from all the slapping and the other abuse. Are we gonna get any of these secrets? Yeah, so when Ozen blew into her whistle, the vessel opened up. Menacing mouth in the background. Oh, she hates deceiving kids. I mean, okay. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, she'll just give you the unvarnished truth. Just smack you in the face with it. Oh, they're actually heading off. Hey, Marok's not in her dress anymore. These moments of human emotion and contact are so precious in this show. No one thinks they're coming back alive. Yeah. This song just kills me. This is reminding me so much of when they said goodbye to what was his name? You know, Rico's friend up on the surface, Nat. She wanted to squeeze more memories out of Reg. Maybe because does Reg knows obviously something about Lyza having come from the bottom himself. Oh, I love that we get to see these two together. Jiro, oh, leader, their apprentice. Ugh, politics. That's pretty insane. Like, White Whistles, their status in society, but also the risk that that places them. in. Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's not, she's not doing it just for Rico. How she's a piece of meat. Check. Check that off the list. This is the first time we've really seen her full face. Kind of has like a Highland princess kind of feel. That was a surprisingly sweet and wholesome moment between Lyza and Ozen. Also, so weird, like Lyza's motivation for leaving, going back down to the abyss. Partly selfish, partly also for her daughter. I don't know. I'll have to watch that again. There's a lot happening. That looks terrifying. Just like a big, gaping, like, endless pit. I mean, okay, so nothing crazy happened in that episode, but I feel like we got so much well, background story into Lyza and Ozen's relationship, and also like the circumstances that Ozen and Lyza had to face when bringing Rico back up to the surface, like not realizing that she was actually gonna be revived by the vessel. And then the whole, like, you know, if you see her later, you know, make sure you send her down onto me. Okay, so this whole Lyza being well and alive thing is, that idea has been resurrected, but oh man, I'm just preparing myself for it being a very tragic reveal of in what way Lyza is still alive. But down in the 6th or 7th layer. Wait, how many layers are there again? I forget. Was it 7, right? Now I have to look it up. Okay. Hang on, this should say. Alright, guys, there's a lot of juicy stuff in this episode that my brain is still trying to process, but I'll try to summarize here and then I'll throw it over to you guys in the comments. So, the first thing that I'm still trying to figure out is Lyza's decision to return to the abyss. The reason that she gives to Ozen is that if she stays with Rico, Rico might not end up being able to choose her own path, and that wouldn't be fair on her. So I'm just kind of wondering, is it because of Lyza and who she is, like her celebrity status, and also the danger that that puts her in with the other rival cave raiding countries? Like, if people knew that she had a daughter and knew where Rico was, they'd basically have to say goodbye to any anonymity and possibly even have to leave the abyss just for the sake of being able to live in peace. I'm not really sure. Obviously, like, that would mean Lyza herself wouldn't be able to continue cave raiding the way that she had been, So it was really interesting that Ozen kind of had a dig at her, and in the way that she usually does, just laid the truth down on her and was like, are you sure you're not just doing this because you want to get back to the abyss for yourself? Yeah, so I don't know. I'll have to have a think about what Lyza actually meant. The other cool bit of information that we got this episode was the glimpses of the other white whistles that we get, who all have, like, you know, Lyza the Annihilator and Ozen the Immovable, very cool, intimidating titles. And as some of you did mention, they are apparently a lot worse than Ozen, which is hard for me to imagine, and for Reg as well, because he got slapped when he was like, are you kidding me? So I am looking forward to meeting them. I think it's going to be a wild, crazy time when we do, and it's probably going to be something, again, something brutal involved. As there always is with white whistles. And I guess the other major reveal behind why Ozen thinks that Lyza might still be alive and well down in the abyss despite 10 years having passed, is that time works very differently down there. Apparently it goes slower, and I'm not sure if that meant that it physically time is different, in that, you know how you shoot yourself out into space, and because you're traveling at these high velocities you actually physically age slower, or if it's just like a mental madness as they call it, and this passing of time, it's all in your head that it goes slower. I don't know. I guess that's just something else that we'll have to find out in later episodes. So from this point, there are 5 more episodes to go, and we're getting to that pointy end of the mystery surrounding Lyza and where she is and what she's become. So until the next episode, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you guys all very soon.